Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're taking a look at the new Thor movie, Love and Thunder. This is again directed by Taika Waititi, who directed the previous Thor movie, Ragnarok, which I absolutely loved. I had a lot of fun watching that movie. However, unlike Ragnarok, I didn't absolutely love this one, and I didn't have that much fun watching it. Watch out, wild opinion coming out of nowhere to catch you off guard. Bet you didn't expect that shit coming in so hard and so fast. The god of surprises. But yeah. Anyway, I was unfortunately let down with this film since I was a big fan of Ragnarok. I had high expectations going into this one, but walked away a bit disappointed. It's not a bad movie by any means. I don't want anyone to get that twisted. I'm not saying this movie's trash or dog shit or anything like that. But it just felt like it was trying so hard to be like Ragnarok, where it leans really heavy on comedy, that it almost became like a bootleg or like a parody of itself. You know, none of the jokes were really landing. In Ragnarok, I had a lot of giggles and genuine belly laughs throughout the film. In this movie, I didn't laugh once. The jokes just weren't landing. I felt like Ebenezer Scrooge just sitting there fucking stone-faced. Now, I know it sounds a little weird focusing so heavy on criticizing the comedy of this film, but that's really what this whole movie is. It's fundamentally a Marvel Universe rom-com, and they would not stop making jokes. This was a movie that didn't take its own plot seriously. Ragnarok had a problem where even like the most serious moments were undercut with jokes here and there. This whole movie, everything is undercut with jokes top to bottom. It doesn't fucking stop. So if the movie doesn't care about its plot, why the fuck are the audience supposed to care about it? It just doesn't work. The big standout for this film was Gore. Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher was fantastic. Actually a really cool villain. All the scenes he was in, all like 4 of them, he was barely in the movie, but every time he was on screen, he was good. Like, he was the best part of this movie by far. Everything else just kind of falls flat because at every step of the way, they're just joking the whole time. There are a few serious moments, but they only last like a split second before Korg will come in and make a quip or something like that. It just doesn't stop. It is basically just a comedy movie with some action in there. The action is good, especially a fight between the main cast and Gore on like a small little planet. It has like this black and white filter to it almost, and it's really cool. It's really well done. But outside of like the action and anything involving Gore, it's just underwhelming. And again, it wasn't just me that wasn't laughing during the film. I was in a full crowded theater, and pretty much no one was busting a gut laughing or slapping their knee having a hoot and a holler. Very rarely did anyone like laugh during this film. The dude behind me even audibly sighed very loud, which is pretty douchey, but sighed when Korg made his millionth quip of the film. Korg was one of my favorite parts of Ragnarok. Every time he spoke, it was entertaining. In this movie, he's like a core character and never stops making jokes. He's like a fucking Reddit user trying to farm karma. And one of Jackson's friends even called this movie Reddit the Movie, and it's pretty accurate. Again, the focal point of this movie is its comedy, which is why I'm talking about it so much. That is the main meat and potatoes here, and it didn't do it very well. And especially not compared to how they did it in Ragnarok. But now moving on to like the actual narrative here, it's definitely not bad, but it's not great. It's not an amazing plot by any means, but it's certainly serviceable. But there are so many plot conveniences that it starts to take you out. I'm not going to get into spoilers, but so many things happen in this movie where it's like, wow, what a coincidence. That's super lucky. Oh, wow, that timing couldn't have been better. Oh, the meeting of the gods is today? Oh, wow, okay, good. I guess that's just when we needed it. Like, there's just certain moments that feel like it's almost a Saturday morning cartoon level of, oh, that's convenient. Like, it doesn't feel earned half the time. Like, it's hard to talk about without spoilers, but one thing they can do in this film is they can be pretty much anywhere in the universe whenever they want to be, thanks to, of course, like the Bifrost. But even when they're not using the Bifrost, and there's some time where they don't have the Bifrost, when they don't have the Bifrost, they can still be anywhere in the universe exactly when they want to be. They can just instantly be there, even without the Bifrost for some reason, somehow. So there's never any, like, stakes when it comes to tracking down Gore once they know where he is. It's never, like, a tough journey to get there because they can just instantly appear there somehow, even when the Bifrost wasn't available. It's just, I don't know, there's a lot of moments here that just don't really work super well from a narrative perspective, but I like the overall plot. You know, I actually like the relationship between Thor and Jane. I think they did a decent enough job of making us care about the two of them. You know, Jane is now a Thor. She's been chosen by Thor's ex Hammer, and they haven't seen each other in a long time, so it's all about like rekindling that relationship, and I think they actually handle it pretty well. And Jane's pretty good as Thor. I think she does a great job. She's fun to watch in the action scenes, and it's just pretty badass, anything that involves action. The visuals were really good. I mean, as you would expect, it's Marvel, but I actually really liked it because it was such a heavy emphasis on like space shit, which I'm always a sucker for. So they even have like a fucking boat that's shooting out like a rainbow road with the Bifrost that's being pulled by some goats, and it's cool. It's cool to look at. There's a lot of cool moments, but just know those cool moments are going to be soon behind you when they're interrupted with yet another joke that falls flat for the millionth fucking time in the film. I'd like to stress again, this isn't a shitty movie. This isn't some dumpster fire of a film, but it is absolutely carried by its visuals, its action, and its villain. But the action, visuals, and villain are pretty goddamn good. And like I said, I do like the relationship between Thor and Jane. I actually thought they did a great job with that, especially since most of the heavy lifting with that relationship had to be done in this movie. Because prior to Love and Thunder, the two of them didn't really have a whole lot going on together. I never really thought that they had a great, like, well-built relationship, so this movie had to do a lot to make you actually give a fuck about that, and I think it did a decent enough job at that. Plugging Thor Love and Thunder into the moist meter, I'm giving it a 65%. I don't think it's a bad movie or anything like that. I think there's some good moments, but overall, it's just almost like a rom-com Marvel movie where a lot of it just takes the wind out of its own sails by just making unstoppable, unrelenting amounts of jokes, most of which don't really land. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah.